The explosion threw Cole against the wall of the cargo bay, and he felt his ribs crack against the metal shelving. Alarms screamed through the station, and red emergency lights painted everything in blood colors. He pulled himself up and tasted copper in his mouth. Something very bad was happening on Horizon's Edge Station. Was 42 years old, and he had seen enough violence in his life to know the difference between an accident and an attack. This was an attack. He grabbed his emergency pack from his ship and moved toward the exit. His cargo hauler was too damaged to fly, and he needed to reach the escape pods on the other side of the station. The corridors were filled with smoke and panic. Humans and aliens ran in every direction. Heard weapons fire somewhere above him, and he knew that whoever was doing this was not finished. He moved quickly through the chaos and tried to stay low and quiet. He was passing through a storage section when he heard the sound. It was soft and frightened, and it came from behind a stack of shipping containers. Stopped and listened. He heard it again. Someone was crying. Moved around the containers and found her. She was young, maybe 15 or 16 years old by human standards. Her skin was pale blue with silver markings that swirled across her cheeks and forehead. She was one of the proud alien species who believed they were superior to every other race in the galaxy. Her left arm was bleeding badly, and she was pressing herself against the wall like she was trying to disappear into it. When she saw, she stopped crying. Her golden eyes went wide, and then they filled with something else. Hatred, pure burning hatred. She pulled a plasma knife from her belt and pointed it at him with her good hand. The blade hummed with deadly energy. "Stay away from me, human," she said. Her voice was shaking, but her hand was steady. "I will kill you if you come closer." Raised both hands slowly. He kept his voice calm and gentle. "I am not going to hurt you. I can see you are injured. Let me help you." The girl laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Help me? You expect me to believe that? I know what humans are. You are savages, primitives. You destroyed your own world with your endless wars, and now you spread through the galaxy like a disease." Had heard these words before. They had a low opinion of humanity. They taught their children that humans were dangerous animals who had somehow learned to build starships. It was not true, but truth did not matter when hatred had been passed down for generations. "I am not your enemy," said. "I am just a cargo hauler. I move supplies between stations. That is all." The girl kept the knife pointed at him. "You are lying. All humans lie. My father warned me about your kind. He said you smile while you plan to stab someone in the back." Could hear boots in the corridor behind him. Heavy boots moving in formation. Soldiers. He did not know who they were, but he knew they were coming this way. "Listen to me," he said quietly. "There are armed people searching this station. I do not think they are friendly. We need to move right now." The girl shook her head. "I am not going anywhere with you." Looked at her bleeding arm. "That wound is bad. If you do not get treatment soon, you will pass out from blood loss. Then those soldiers will find you, and I do not think they will be gentle." The girl hesitated. For a moment her mask of hatred slipped and saw what was underneath. She was terrified. She was a child far from home, and she was hurt and alone, and everyone around her was dying. The boots were getting closer. Made a decision. "My name is Cole," he said. "I was a combat medic before I was a cargo hauler. I served in the border wars 20 years ago. I have saved more lives than I can count, and I have never hurt a prisoner or a civilian. You do not have to trust me. You do not have to like me. But right now I am your best chance of getting out of here alive." The girl stared at him. The plasma knife trembled in her hand. "My name is," she said finally. "I am the daughter of High Counselor of the Empire." Felt his stomach drop. High Counselor was one of the most powerful beings in the galaxy. His daughter was worth more than this entire station. If the attackers knew she was here, then this was not random violence. This was a kidnapping. "That changes things," said. "Those soldiers are probably looking for you specifically. We need to get you somewhere safe right now." Lowered her knife slightly. "Why would you help me? If I am valuable, then you could sell me to the highest bidder. That is what humans do." Shook his head. "That is not what I do." The soldiers were almost at the storage section. Could hear them checking containers one by one. They were being thorough. They would find this place in minutes. Looked at, and something passed between them. She did not trust him. She still hated him. But she was smart enough to know that staying here meant death or worse. "Fine," she said. "But if you betray me, I will make sure my father destroys everything you have ever loved." Almost smiled. "You can threaten me all you want once we are safe. Right now we need to move." He helped her to her feet and she gasped in pain. Her arm was worse than he thought. They needed medical supplies and they needed them soon. Led her toward a maintenance hatch he had spotted earlier. Behind them, the soldiers entered the storage section and began their search, and slipped into the darkness of the maintenance tunnels and disappeared. As they crawled through, the narrow passages spoke in a whisper filled with venom. "I still hate you, human." Kept moving forward. "I know, just keep up and try not to bleed on everything." Made a sound that might have been anger or might have been surprise. No one had ever spoken to her like that. She was royalty. People bowed to her. They feared her father. They treated her like she was made of glass. This human treated her like she was just another person who needed help. She did not know what to make of that. So she crawled after him into the darkness, and she kept her knife ready in her good hand, just in case. The maintenance tunnels were dark and cramped and filled with the smell of old machinery. Moved through them with practiced ease while struggled behind him. Her wounded arm made crawling difficult, and she had to bite her lip to keep from crying out in pain. They had been moving for nearly an hour when finally stopped at a junction. He pressed his ear against a grate and listened. Silence. He pushed the grate open and climbed out into an empty corridor. "Where are we?" asked as he helped her through the opening. "Medical Bay 6 said. It is in the older section of the station. Most people forget it exists." The medical bay was dusty and abandoned, but the basic equipment still worked. Found a functioning scanner and ran it over his arm. The readings made him frown. "The wound is infected," he said. "Biology does not handle human station environments well. Your immune system is fighting something it has never seen before." Sat on a medical table and watched him gather supplies. "You know about biology?" "I know a little about a lot of things. Found a sterilization kit and some bandages that looked old but usable. In the border wars we treated everyone. Human soldiers, alien civilians. It did not matter. A wound is a wound." Hissed as he began cleaning her arm. The antiseptic burned, but she refused to show weakness. She kept her eyes on his face and searched for any sign of cruelty or deception. She found nothing. His expression was focused and gentle. His hands were steady and careful. He worked like someone who had done this 1,000 times before. "Why did you leave the military?" she asked. Did not look up from his work. "I got tired of patching people up just so they could go back out and get shot again. After a while, you start to wonder what the point is." "The point is victory. The point is defeating your enemies." Shook his head. "I never had any enemies, just people on the other side of a line that someone else drew. Most of them did not want to fight any more than I did. Did not know how to respond to that. In culture, enemies were enemies. You crushed them or they crushed you. The idea that your enemy might be just another person trying to survive was foreign to her." Finished bandaging her arm and stepped back. "That should hold for now. But you need real medical treatment within the next day or the infection will spread." Flexed her fingers experimentally. The pain was still there, but it was manageable. She looked at and asked the question that had been burning in her mind since he first found her. "Why are you helping me?" Sat down on a chair across from her. He looked tired, old in a way that had nothing to do with his age. "Because you needed help," he said simply. "That cannot be the only reason. No one does something for nothing. What do you want from me? Money, political favor, protection from my father's enemies?" Laughed softly. "I do not want anything from you. I saw a kid who was hurt and scared and I decided to help. That is the whole story." Shook her head. "I do not believe you. There must be something else." Was quiet for a long moment. Then he spoke in a voice so soft that had to lean forward to hear him. "I had a daughter once. She was about your age when she died. Colony attack on Meridian 4. The Hollow Dawn faction hit civilian targets to make a political statement. 2,000 people dead in one night, including my little girl." Felt something twist in her chest. She had been taught that humans did not feel real emotions, that their attachments were shallow and temporary. But the pain in his eyes was real. It was deep and old, and it had never healed. "I am sorry," she said. The words felt strange in her mouth. She had never apologized to a human before. Nodded. "When I saw you hiding behind those containers, you reminded me of her. Not your face or your voice, just the fear in your eyes. The way you were trying so hard to be brave when you were falling apart inside. I could not walk away from that." They sat in silence for a moment, then heard something that made her blood run cold. Boots in the corridor outside. The soldiers had found them. moved fast. He grabbed and pushed her toward a storage closet. Hide in there and do not come out no matter what you hear. What about you? I will handle it. Picked up a metal rod from a pile of old equipment. Just stay hidden. The door burst open and 3 soldiers rushed in. They wore black armor with no insignia. Hollow Dawn, the same faction that had Killed's daughter. Did not hesitate. He swung the metal rod and caught the first soldier in the throat. The man went down choking. The second soldier raised his weapon but was already inside his guard. He drove his elbow into the soldier's face and felt bone crack. The third soldier fired. The energy blast caught in the side and he stumbled. Pain exploded through his body, but he kept moving. He grabbed the soldier's weapon and twisted it. The soldier screamed as his wrist broke. Stood over the 3 fallen men and breathed hard. Blood was spreading across his shirt from the wound in his side. It was bad. He could feel it. Emerged from the closet. Her eyes were wide as she looked at the fallen soldiers and then at. "You are hurt," she said. "I noticed. Leaned against the wall. We need to move. There will be more of them coming." Moved to his side and put her good arm around him. She helped him stand and together they walked toward the door. "You fought for me," she said quietly. "You bled for me. I do not understand." Managed a weak smile. "Maybe one day you will." They disappeared into the corridor as alarms began to sound behind them. Somewhere on this station's father was being held prisoner. Somewhere on this station, the leader of Hollow Dawn was planning something terrible. And somewhere in her heart felt something she had never felt before. Something that scared her more than the soldiers or the bombs or the blood. She felt grateful to a human, and she did not know what to do with that.